So the race wars have started, and
Because I'm a mom now, you want me to talk about this? Okay.
well, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It.
We've got.
I'm gonna open all my opinions with, well, as a new mom.
That's what you have to do.
Relevant.
There
That's
we
how
go.
authority.
And then and anybody who comments on it, now you have to say like, "Hey, you can't talk about that because you're not a mom." Like that's
It's
now
terrorist.
that's what you
Hey,
have
there
to
we
do.
go.
Talk about this.
So, in general, we haven't heard from you in a while. So I wanted to update it today with like the obvious double standard where people are really butthurt about the fundraising for Shiloh. What do you make of, first of all, we haven't heard from you since, Carmelo into Shiloh. What are you making of like this fundraising war between the races? What are your 30,000 foot view on this?
It's impossible for me not to look at these stories and think about the BLM fundraising scandals,
Yeah.
you had this race-related fundraising effort, and what did they do with that money? Bought luxury houses and spent it on themselves. And so, especially with the Carmelo Anthony case, like it was very hard not to see that fundraiser and then be like, I just don't think that, there is probably someone who donates it to it, like to their heart, really thinks they're doing something great. But I think, unfortunately, so much of this is, race or emotion baiting to get large sums of money into the hands of people who don't have good intentions. And it's not that this doesn't happen in, white or Hispanic or Asian centered issues. It just seems to be very predominant right now among Black related issues. And I think that's sad. I mean, I think that this is only pushing divisiveness in our culture, and it's going to ultimately create even more tension and resentment. Not because of, anything that's provoked. It seems like it's a self-inflicted wound.
What do you make of, now you've probably missed our hot takes on it, but give me your best hot take on, look, Shiloh raising money for his defense fund, I think.
Or Shiloh, wait, you're getting the name.
I'm sorry, Carmelo.
Carmelo.
Thank you. I was up all night with the baby. So Carmelo.
That was you in the other room.
Yeah. So Carmelo raising money for his legal defense, whether or not you consider his innocence or guilt in question, which I don't, he's obviously guilty, he confessed to it. Him raising money for that is something like, Kyle Rittenhouse raising money for his defense, or Luigi Mangione, there's really no question about his innocence or guilt, but he raised over $1 million. People are looking at the money raised by Shiloh Hendricks completely differently. And the cat is now clawing at the door to get back in and get at Maggie. He's got the door almost open right now. He's going to get it. I can see he's got his paw through right now. He's going to burst through here. You're probably going to hear Maggie scream.
Is he a black cat?
He is a cat. He's my chunky cat. He's yeah, he looks like an Oreo. He's a tabby. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like black cats know how to open doors. Notoriously, like I don't know what it is, but black cats can open doors.
I think my black cat can scale the wall a la Spider-Man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nowhere that cat can't get
She's
in.
gone completely out of her mind now. She has picked up the cat. This is not going to end well for her face. I strongly suspect. But so what do you make of all the spazzing out over Shiloh Hendricks? To me, I think. Oh, they got me, boys. Okay.
Oh.
So to me, I think people are very sensitive about literally any level of criticism about it.
Mhm.
I don't criticize anyone for giving her money. I don't think it's the best optics to give someone who just called some kid the N-word $750,000.
For sure.
But just because of the way it'll be used against me. Now, when I say that, people will like literally spurg out and yell at me. Like, it's totally fine. Look at how much Carmelo raised, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, I don't think giving Carmelo Anthony $500,000 is great either. What could $1.25 million have done for like sick kids or, something like that?
Well, and Carmelo Anthony is like recorded body cam footage being like, it's not alleged, I did it. Like
He admitted to it. Right. He still will need money to defend himself in court, though.
Sure, and he has the right to a defense.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true of Shiloh Hendricks, right? Like, Shiloh, I agree with you. Like being like, I'm going to give money to someone who is like using slurs against a child. Difficult.
She's like
On the other hand,
literally probably racist. You know what I mean?
I,
Like,
I
yeah.
support it. I support it.
I
because
support
this
him
is
giving-
a
yeah.
free speech issue.
and I
Yeah.
don't believe in. I think hate speech is basically made up. I think hate speech is a fake concept. So like, no, I don't think you should say slurs at a child. I think that's bad. On the other hand, I think Melanie's right. This is a free speech issue. And just like Carmelo Anthony and just like Luigi Mangione and just like everybody else, this person has a right to a defense. Everyone who's supporting any of these people has the freedom and the agency to donate money as they want to. But like I said, it just comes down to this like using race as a way to divide people. And in some cases, maybe it's justified, maybe it's not. I don't know that the heroes that you're picking in all of these cases are the best. Do they deserve defenses? For sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, Luigi Mangione, unless he has said something I am not aware of, or we know what is in the contents of his note, there's more question about his guilt. He is more in question than Carmelo Anthony, who openly admitted what he did.
Yes.
In this case,
He
with
did,
the video,
he did
like
kind of his manifesto thing was like, I'm gonna kill somebody. I'm gonna do this.
Right.
But he did not admit it. You're right. As far as I know, yeah.
And I just think there's always like, for our justice system to work, you need strong defenses, right? You don't, if someone is guilty and did it, you want them to have the best defense possible,
Right.
because otherwise they have the chance to appeal. And, you're actually seeing this a lot with the Idaho 4 case right now, but I'll put a pin in my obsession with that.
Oh, that case
for
is
now.
falling apart.
Oh,
that
it's
case is
whacked.
falling-
It's wrecked.
Yeah, it's completely falling apart. He's gonna walk.
It's
and
crazy.
yeah, we can talk about it. I have notes on it.
Oh,
I was
I'm
ready.
happy to talk about it. But I think what's weird in American culture right now is more that we have to fundraise for everything. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like anything happens to you at all, you should fundraise for it. I can't pay my rent, fundraise. I can't buy groceries, fundraise. My kid has a dream to go to Italy, fundraise. I'm being arrested for something, fundraise. Like I think it's sort of this weird warped perception of charity. Like I think we do have a calling to help one another, and you can use financial resources to do that. It is just wild to me the amount of stuff that ultimately ends up on GoFundMe or Give, Send, Go.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. Like everyone gets really defensive when I say like, the optics of giving this money, that money. They're like, pick a side, bro. I'm like, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I just feel like, I don't know, something feels a little ick to me about it. To where like, did she rate $100,000? Cool. She rate a couple. Like, are we going to be making people millionaires now because to send a message? I get it. Like Luigi is different. They're all different. Luigi is for his defense and sending a message. You don't raise $1 million if you're Luigi Mangione if you don't have psychotic leftists who are LARPing and actually like fantasizing about doing what he did. There's no doubt about it. He's a handsome man. He did what all these leftists dream and fantasize about. That's why he raised that much money. Carmelo Anthony, there's an aspect to his $500,000 of black people who fantasize about doing what he did and who support what he did. There's also an aspect of Shiloh Hendricks' fundraisers from people who are literally actually racist. Now, I still support people backing this woman to say, like, I support people backing Shiloh Hendricks because of what the message is, not necessarily the people who are backing her.
Mm-hmm.
When there are people like putting like racist stuff in their messages, I don't like that. But I do love that the message is like, look, we're just not going to cancel people anymore. I don't think that's
right. Like
people
you
in chat
can't cancel her.
Yeah,
also,
people in
like,
chat saying
this is
that's
also about the white guilt thing. White guilt is dead. You can't be treating white people like this, and you can't cancel her.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think
actually
that's
you have
fence sitting to say. I don't like. I'm not saying anyone. I'm just saying like, look, the message is what's important here, not necessarily the people who are donating money, because a lot of them are garbage.
I think Shiloh Hendricks' case more clearly contrasts Carmelo Anthony's, even though she wasn't violent. Like hers is speech related and his is actually an attack.
True.
Luigi Mangione, I think you should actually contrast with Daniel Penny, because both are held up as forms of vigilantism.
Or Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, or Kyle Rittenhouse. But we can see why with Penny and with Rittenhouse, but just to continue this thought, with Penny, there is a reason people were like, he is not going to get a fair trial. And the thing that he did actually protects other people, right? If you have someone who's violent and psychotic and threatening and potentially attacking people on a train, you have someone who steps in, you don't want them to face unfair conviction. With Luigi, people are saying he's a vigilante in some respects for healthcare, but it actually seems like he was sort of in his own world, acting on his own impulses, and what he did didn't directly protect anybody. It's very different. I think when you look at Shiloh Hendricks' case, like do you ever see, like in movies or whatever, they'll have someone who's like, oh yeah, I used to work for the ACLU, I had to defend neo-Nazis and blah blah blah, and they act like they're super put out, but actually that's what you're called to do. Like there are all kinds of people who say things that you may not like, who have the right to say it. And I think that's what's hard about the core of this case, that often you have to confront something that's uncomfortable, right? Like a woman using words that we wouldn't to talk to children. Like it's not the prettiest case. On the other hand, the fundamental freedoms are important to protect.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. I don't know why it makes me feel weird. Maybe I'm just being a cuck. I don't know. I support the message. You
don't have to support her. Just because you like free speech doesn't mean you have to put your money behind this particular person. Like,
yeah, I didn't give her any money. I didn't give Carmelo any money. I didn't give Luigi any money either. You know, like, but it is interesting. What do you think this is going to do? I'll go to Melanie and then Hannah Claire. What do you think the bigger picture is here? Has the tit been tatted? Or are things going to now escalate beyond this? I don't think
it's over for sure, but I do think that this has made an impact among the white community, especially of, hey, this message I think has helped embolden white people to stand up against this white guilt narrative and so on and so forth. So many people have been scared to be labeled a racist, and they've been playing on the empathy of white people as a manipulation tool. And at this point, this was just one of the straws that broke the camel's back moment. And we've seen what happened when we stand up for against this kind of treatment and against this kind of white guilt stuff. And when we stand for free speech and we stand for like, okay, here's this double standard, we're going to stand against this double standard here of, if you say that, okay, the N-word is bad, when we agree that the N-word is bad, most people would say yes. But whenever, black people can say it, then they've already nullified the fact that the N-word is bad. Because if they're all saying it, but, it's not bad if we say it, but it's bad when you say it. No, it's either bad when everyone says it, or it's not bad when everyone says it. And so I think that this will help embolden white people. This, at the end of the day, it's just like America was founded a predominantly white country, and we still matter in this country. And we can't just be pushed around and treated as big bad oppressor when in reality, it's like we're the ones that have to walk on eggshells. So hey, I want everybody to be able to get along. And I think in an ideal situation, we're not going to be thinking about race every single day. But sometimes you got to fight for what's important. And at this point, they overcorrected with trying to cry bully white people. And we're sick of it. And hey, we need to be strong and stand against that crap. But we don't want to also overcorrect either. So there's a balance to be had here.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that really drove people away from this like white people always bad, white guilt narrative was actually all of the sycophantic white people who would be like, I'm trying to unlearn racism, or here's how families teach racism, or here's how white culture is the worst. Like all of that, or white people don't have culture, actually, I think drove people away from.
Did you see that chef video where they're like, all these black people, if somebody check and find it's funny, they were like eating some spaghetti or something like that. And they were like, this has no flavor. This doesn't have something or other or whatever. And like some white chef, somebody find me this video. All they were really talking about is that there wasn't a pound of salt on it. Like they weren't talking about any fancy. They weren't talking about any fancy black person seasonings. They were just talking about over salting it into oblivion.
See, and
I was like,
and
they're
I'm
like,
thinking
white
that
people
kind
don't
of
know how to
stuff, too.
cook. I'm like, white people cook freaking great, dude. What are you talking
Exactly.
about?
It's like if your taste buds are nuked and absolutely ruined because of the garbage that you eat, that's not a flex, bro. That's not a flex that your palate can't taste the natural flavors of food unless you nuke it with a bunch of seasonings. Like that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah,
Well, and
somebody
if white
find me
people
that
don't
video.
have culture, why are we constantly trying to drop all kinds of races into white historic pieces, right?
Right.
Like, why are we constantly examining old European time periods, but suddenly there's a black person? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Either they don't have culture and there's nothing to talk about, or you're obsessed with white people, except you want them to feel bad about themselves.